off to the races.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen. Off to the Races is here, and we are talking about Best Director now. This is the one that we had to have a little hiatus on because of the precursors. Golden Globes came out. The Critics' Choice nominations came out. A lot of other stuff like the LA Critics Awards or whatever it's called, the National Board of Reviewers. So much stuff has happened. And concerning director, that was one category that I was willing to at least wait to let all that talk blow over so then I could update my list and give y'all my updated list today. Shawn, how are you today?
I am doing great. I'm happy we waited to do this because even though the Golden Globes and the Critics' Choice, they don't always correlate perfectly with the Oscars, I think that it kind of gives us a good direction of where we're headed. And I mean, these nominations were kind of crazy. Golden Globes, I was surprised at how different they voted than usual, because usually they throw out some crazy curveballs. This year they had some great nominations, and Critics' Choice was a little questionable this year, I think.
Yeah, Critics' Choice seriously was a little questionable. I know Golden Globes was a little different because I know they're not being run by the Hollywood Foreign Press anymore, and they're not just merely 90 plus critics, 300 critics now voting. So that's why that looked really nice. But you're right. Dan, want to touch on Critics' Choice for 2 seconds here and how weird that was when it first came out and we were like, Saltburn? What?
Well, as you guys know, I love Barbie, but I even thought 18 nominations was overkill. Like, that beat the record by like 3 or 4.
That's insane.
Yeah, so that was insane, and that was a huge takeaway. And then there's like Saltburn being in like 1 or 2 categories and not any really others. But yeah, those were, I think, my biggest takeaways.
No, yeah, for sure. Barbie has been overperforming this season. Let's go ahead and give our predictions to see if Barbie is going to overperform for Best Director. All right, guys. This time we start with me. Finally coming back around. Let's start with my top 5, the Oscar 5. My predictions are at number 5, Alexander Payne, The Holdovers. At number 4, Greta Gerwig, Barbie. At 3, Yorgos Lanthimos, Poor Things. 2, still have him up there, my boy Scorsese, Killers of the Flower Moon, with Christopher Nolan for the win for Oppenheimer. Guys, we should just talk about our 2 to 5 because it is probably locked beyond a shadow of a doubt that Christopher Nolan is getting his first Oscar this year for director.
Yes, and I think the entire populace wants to see that, right? He is one of our finest directors. He gets butts in seats at the movie theaters. Everyone loves Nolan, and he continues to, outshine himself with every film, besides maybe Tenet. But, this was such a huge accomplishment Oppenheimer was for him, and I think this is the perfect time for him to win the Best Director award.
I completely agree. We've been saying this since we saw Oppenheimer back in July, and it has not stopped. And it's been number 1 since for most people. Again, the conversation here should be 2 through 5 plus our honorable mentions because the 1 is solidified, I think.
I wouldn't say 100%. I think these precursors are showing us that there is, one movie that's really coming up there and people can't stop talking about it. So I don't know, but
you're right.
It's not solidified, but it's very close to being solidified.
for the sake of hindsight, I will say solidified, just so I can look back on this video and be like, yes or no.
That's fair. Yes.
But the person that you're talking about is the person that I did not have on this list before the precursors, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Greta Gerwig for Barbie is not merely my number 5, is not merely just sliding in. She is number 4, okay? I believe, I could be wrong, but I believe that almost every precursor that we've been following has had Greta Gerwig in.
Yeah.
The Oscars, who love Greta Gerwig, they're not going to do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And it was just announced that she is going to be the first female director to lead the Cannes judging panel next year. So that's another big win for Greta Gerwig. So she's all over the place right now. So if anyone has a chance to beat Christopher Nolan on Oscar Sunday, I feel like it is Greta Gerwig.
You're not wrong there. Now, I don't know how high she is just yet. I have her up at 4, one slot up from just a mere 5 because of the precursors. But do I see her for an actual win? Maybe. It might be just like my bias because I really like Barbie. I mean, I love Barbie. But do I love Greta Gerwig's direction in that film, her writing in that film compared to a Lady Bird or a Little Women? No. I mean, easily no. And that's not a bad thing. She doesn't have to be hitting home runs all the time to even get in for a Best Director type nomination. Worse people have gotten in.
Yeah.
But, man, Barbenheimer all the way up to Oscars, that would be a fun competition.
I just think that's what this year's Oscars is going to be all about. It's going to be Barbenheimer, but like going at it for awards. That's what I think this Oscars is going to be.
No, yeah, for sure. I might save everything else for you guys so that we can kind of continue talking. Let's touch on my honorable mentions right away. Now, I do have holdovers at 5. The one film that I believe could take the holdovers, and I'm a little iffy on it, only because it's actor-director Bradley Cooper for Maestro. He has been the one that has been surprising me this season with the precursors, getting in. And a lot of the precursors this season have had entries of six entries, right? And so he gets in. Of course, like a lot of people they're getting in. Maestro's there. It's not in because are they really gonna give Bradley an actor nomination and a director nomination? That's a little too much, I feel. But I haven't seen the movie, and maybe it's worth it. Maybe it makes sense.
I mean, the interesting thing is, at the Golden Globes and the Critics' Choice, the 4 that got in, both were Bradley Cooper, Yorgos Lanthimos, Greta Gerwig, Christopher Nolan, and Martin Scorsese. It's just that 6th slot that it's gone to a different director. So, I mean, are those the 4 that were nominated at both Golden Globes and Critics' Choice? Are those the 5 locks?
Yeah, because Golden Globes did not nominate Payne, I believe, but Critics' Choice did.
They nominated Celine Song.
Yes, but Critics' Choice did nominate Payne. 6, Maestro. I'm gonna leave it there. If it was 6, I feel like Bradley Cooper's getting in at 6. At 7, At 7, I have Zone of Interest. It's fallen. Jonathan Glazer's Zone of Interest. It's fallen for me because a lot of precursors haven't been showing it as much love as I thought they were going to. It's been Anatomy of a Fall this season, guys.
Yeah.
I know you've noticed that as well. The Zone of Interest, though, the only place I believe it got a lot of love was like the Los Angeles Critics Circle. I don't know what it's called, the specific name, but it won picture, it won director, like it won everything in that ceremony. And that's what made me like, okay, like it's still there. I'm not gonna negate it.
Yeah. And it also got in at Globes for best Picture, right? For Best Dramatic
Mm-hmm.
Feature.
Yes. Yes.
So, I mean, it's not disappearing completely.
It's
That's for
not.
sure.
At 8, I have Past Lives, and you would think maybe this is a little too low because Celine Song at least made it in director for Globes. And my thing is that more than that shock, which is a pleasant shock, she's just been getting a lot of breakthrough nominations, if you've noticed. And so that's why I have it at 8, because I'm happy the Globes recognized it, but it seems like everybody else is just recognizing it as a breakthrough
Mhm.
directorial debut. So I have that at 8.
That's fair.
And 9, I have Justine Triet for Anatomy of a Fall. That
Mhm.
movie, bro, screenplay, foreign film nominations, Best Picture nominations, but Justine Triet, not really.
Right. And we have to remember too that Anatomy of a Fall is not being it's not even up for Best Foreign Language Feature at the Oscars. So
Yeah,
it needs to get into Best Picture. And if it doesn't get into Best Picture, there's no way she's getting a director nom.
it'll just be that screenplay nomination and Hooler.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
happened. It's happened.
Yeah.
Let me stop there. I'm talking too much. I want to hear what my boy Shawn has to say.
Um I will tell you this, we have the same 9, but mine are completely different in different orders than you.
Let's stop. We'll start with your 5, your top 5.
My number 5 is Celine Song.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'll talk about that in a second. Number 4 is Greta Gerwig. Number 3 is Yorgos Lanthimos. Number 2 is Martin Scorsese, and number 1 is Christopher Nolan.
Ooh, okay. So you're gonna think I want to touch on Celine Song. Let's touch on that second.
Mm-hmm.
I'm interested because out of most people, Shawn, and I appreciate you for this, I love your little pushback toward Killers of the Flower Moon this season.
Yeah.
And yet you still have Scorsese at 2. Why?
Okay, this is what's a little confusing about my 5. I don't think there's any way Martin Scorsese is going to win the award. I just don't see that happening. I don't see it happening this year at all. But there's just no way that he's not going to get nominated, if that makes sense. Like, I
Yeah,
just
it does.
know he's going to get nominated and he's not going to win. That's already in my head. And I kind of feel the same way about Yorgos Lanthimos, honestly. I feel like there's no way he's not getting in. But I also don't think he's going to win. Whereas with Greta Gerwig, there is still a idea in my head that she might not get in, but if she does get in, she could win.
Gotcha.
I don't know if that logic makes any sense at all, but that's how I made my list.
Brother, we've been doing this for 3 years now. It makes sense. I understand where
Yeah.
you're coming from. There was something that you said earlier about, Golden Globes and the Critics' Choice. They aren't necessarily precursors to look at to decide who the Oscar winners will be. But man, whoever wins, that's momentum, Shawn.
Absolutely.
And so I say this, what if Greta gets Golden Globes? What if Greta gets Critics' Choice? One of the two, right? That is momentum going into the Oscars.
100%. And the people who say that the Golden Globes and Critics' Choice don't mean anything, I just don't think that's very true. They're not the end-all, be-all, but like you're saying right now, no matter what, it's getting their names out in people's mouths. And the more people are talking about that movie and the director and the actors, the more it's going to gain that momentum to win that award.
Yeah, I would say that's when last year's Butler being runner-up to Fraser started, was at Golden Globes.
Yep, 100%.
Like, that's where that all started. Okay, now let's talk about Celine Song. Take it away.
Celine Song. Okay, we've been talking about the last couple of months here that Past Lives has lost a bunch of momentum. Obviously, we're a little off base about that because it
came back. It came back.
Yep.
It came back to bite me in the butt.
I'm a little surprised by it, but honestly, this is a movie that seems to just it's stuck with people since it came out in the summer and it's not going anywhere. And I have this feeling because yes, she's getting a lot of breakthrough awards, but her name is still in people's mouths, right? And there is a great chance that Past Lives is going to have that staying power that we were not expecting.
Oh, I'm with you. I was wrong when I said that
Yeah.
Past Lives was losing steam. Though I will admit, I didn't think I was wrong. I really did not feel any hype toward Past Lives the last couple of weeks, but now it's staying, okay?
Yeah.
Staying power, like you said, that's what it has. Now, is it rolling? Is it gonna get like Celine's song up to 4 or 3 or 2? Nah,
No.
I don't think so. No, I'm gonna be honest. She could fall off of your list.
Oh, 100%. I just feel like those 4 are just such a lock, and then that 5th slot can kind of go to anybody.
Yeah, I know. Which is why I want Payne to get it.
Well, we love the holdovers, and that's why.
Oh, please. A Christmas movie for the Oscars. Let's do it.
I know.
Yeah, Celine's
Such
song.
a good movie.
But yeah, I don't want to reiterate it too much. But again, yes, it's surprising, Celine's song and the love for her. But Breakthrough Awards, that's all she's been getting. And that's why I'm kind of iffy on her getting into the top 5. Like,
yeah, that's fair.
And I enjoy her. I enjoy her direction.
Yeah.
I do. Shawn, your honorable mentions.
Number 6, Bradley Cooper. Once again, he got into both the Golden Globes and the Critics' Choice, so that's showing, huge momentum for Maestro. Number 7, I have Alexander Payne. And then number 8, I have Justine Triet. And number 9, I have Alexander Payne. Sorry, number 9, I have Jonathan Glazer.
Oh, okay. About to say. Wow, Glazer, bro. What happened?
I just think with Glazer, the zone of interest is too divisive of a movie. I think, not divisive, but I think it is just a critics movie. I don't think it is an audience movie. I think a lot of people are going to tout it as this fantastic achievement, and then a lot of audiences and, just normal people, and there are some, normal movie-going public that vote for the Oscars. They are not going to respond to the zone of interest like a movie critic would, It's that artsy, pretentious movie that's in the mix this year.
I don't know how else to say it. You said it perfectly. I agree with you. Now, have the Oscars before nominated directors or movies or screenplays that are very pretentious and artsy? Yes, they have. But I will say this, the race is picking up and Glazer's falling behind, and that's it. Even though the Oscars could do it, that's fine. The Oscars could do it. But the race is now picking up. Poor Things is running. Oppenheimer's been running. Barbie's running. Holdovers. All these Past Lives out of nowhere sprinted. Dude, the race is picking up. And if Glazer doesn't pick up steam, 9, that might be nice.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, zone of interest is getting into these little slots. I think a lot of the critics' precursors are going to give it to zone of interest, but I don't see it gaining much momentum besides that. I think Justine Triet has the advantage here because Anatomy of a Fall is a lot more of an accessible film, and everyone who's seen it really loves it besides John.
I like it. I don't love it, but I like it.
I still think it might have a hard chance. She might have a hard chance getting in with how strong that top 4 is. And then last but not least, Alexander Payne. I would have bet you like $1,000 that he would have gotten in 100% 2 weeks ago. But now I feel like the Holdovers is losing a little bit of steam, and him not getting in at the Golden Globes at all was a huge surprise for me. And once again, it's not the end all be all, but I just have a feeling that movie is losing a little bit of steam right now. So that's why he's not my number 5.
Yeah, it's sad because I do love Payne's direction in this movie, and I do want to see Payne up in 5. But you know, if you want to do the math, if there's any way to do the math, but if you want to do it, Cooper technically has gotten more nominations.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Cooper is number 6, but he's gotten in where Payne hasn't.
But like, are we gonna give Cooper director, actor,
I know.
best picture because he produced the thing? Like, are we giving him everything? You know, like, is Maestro really that great? So this is the one I feel like he's gonna miss in director and get in for actor, if anything. I would be really surprised if he got all 3 come Oscar nomination day.
I'm so interested to see what DGA does this year, because I think that is what's going to end up cementing whether Cooper is going to be a top 5 or if Payne's going to be a top 5, right?
I do think DGA is going to be the big one that really tells us where this race is going. Yeah,
I agree. Shawn, what a list, what an analysis. Let's go to my buddy Dan the Man with a plan.
So number 5, I have Alexander Payne for The Holdovers. 4, Yorgos Lanthimos for Poor Things. 3, Greta Gerwig for Barbie. 2, Martin Scorsese for Killers of the Flower Moon. And 1, Christopher Nolan for Oppenheimer.
Okay.
I like how you switched up Greta and Yorgos.
Yeah.
Dan, this is going to get a little bit into our DMs. Did my thoughts on Poor Things influence your placement on Yorgos?
Actually, no. I just felt like Greta was getting in more precursors than I expected. Because I mean, obviously, I love the movie, but yeah, it's not her like best work, directing wise and writing wise. You know, so I was actually kind of, you know, before this, I did have her at 5, I think, but the precursors just kind of made me go up. But yeah, I thought about your thoughts on it as well, but I don't know. I just feel like we're hearing more about Barbie.
Yeah.
Even though people are loving Poor Things. But,
yeah.
Oh, bro. I mean, absolutely. People are loving Barbie. It's getting every nomination in any category that any ceremony sees fit to put it in.
Yeah.
It's
like
getting it.
Every category.
Greta at 3 might be the smarter move than having her at 4.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna put it plainly. Yorgos at 4. That might be a more personal pick for me if I had a personal list, maybe. But I do think he is a little stronger than Greta Gerwig, right? Like maybe they're tied. Maybe they're tied 3 and 4. But I do think Yorgos is a little stronger. Shawn.
So, John, since you've seen the movie, you've seen Poor Things, would you say, like, is Barbie or Poor Things more of like a lavish, epic production?
Oh, it's Poor Things.
Okay.
Yeah, it's Poor Things, I've got to say.
Okay.
I have my thoughts with Poor Things. I saw it. I'm the only one here that's seen it. And I will say that I was sorely disappointed by it. I did not think it was the best film of the year, like many people are saying. It's not the 5 out of 5 that the YouTube ads are telling me it is. I thought that it had a lot of stuff to say. There is a message there that could get through to many people that you could sit down and digest and think of. But ultimately, I did not think that they told it in an interesting way. And ultimately, even that message wasn't that interesting to tell in the first place. I'm sorry. This is the first time I feel like Shawn, Yorgos did not do it for me this year. And now I don't hate the movie. I almost feel like an Anatomy of a Fall type thing where it disappointed me because how high I had it in my head beforehand. But I will say I do like Poor Things. I do. But I'm disappointed by it, man. I'm really disappointed by it. I told you guys, I might have even said it on camera. If it hits every beat I wanted to hit, it could be my number 1 film of the year. And it did not hit.
Did not hit those beats. Yeah. No.
It did not. So Yorgo's at 4. Yeah, man. I'm happy at least you got Payne at 5.
Yeah, I definitely wanted to get him in there. I was surprised that he didn't get the Golden Globes. They Golden Globes usually love Payne, right?
They do.
Yes.
So I don't know if you guys know, but there's like allegations against
Yeah.
Alexander Payne. So I think that sexual assault allegations against him.
Oh,
So
dude.
Rose
Okay.
McGowan kind of like lumped her in almost with Weinstein, saying that Alexander Payne also, yeah. So those
Okay.
allegations are out there. And I think that especially where the Golden Globes are at and how they've been so like judged by everybody, and they were canceled. The entire Golden Globes, the HFBA, they were
Yeah.
canceled. I think that might have done something to boot him off the list for director.
Oh, wow. That makes total sense. First off, I was out of the loop here. Did not know this. I don't know what rock I've been living under, but that makes total sense as to why Golden Globes would have him off, right?
Yeah.
Now I'm starting to think if other people are going to have him off. I don't know now. It depends on, well, the severity of the crime is there. But now it depends how far those accusations go. Is this going to be a James Franco in The Disaster Artist, which basically ruined his run for the Oscars? Or will this be Casey Affleck, where it died down and he ended up winning the Oscar anyway?
Right. Yeah, I mean, we'll see about that, because I didn't know about it until just like a couple of weeks ago. So I feel like a lot of people don't know about these allegations, and that could keep him in the running, because they haven't been, plastered all over the media.
Because I heard, wasn't it a few years ago when she accused? I think it was a few years ago, and then he said no, and then she said, "Okay." At first, it was just about an apology, and I wasn't trying to ruin you, but now I'm going to prove it. And then nothing's come since then.
But he hasn't made a film since that all went down, and because it's been quite a while since Downsizing came out. So that's where we're at with Alexander Payne. So I'm interested to see if that comes to light at all in the coming months.
Let's get into your honorable mentions, Dan.
All right, so number 6, I have Bradley Cooper for Maestro. 7, I have Celine Song for Past Lives. Number 8, I have Jonathan Glazer for The Zone of Interest. And 9, I have Justin Chia for Anatomy of a Fall.
Okay.
So we all have the same 9.
Yeah.
Cooper's, all have the same 9, and we all have the same exact 6.
In
terms of honorable mentions, I mean. Cooper.
Yeah.
Cooper's that one that could get in.
100%.
He could take Celine Song from Shawn. He could take Payne from me and Dan. Cooper. Bro, if this was Oscar rules, like ballot rules, I feel like Cooper just gets in then, because he's gotten more 6s than Payne or Celine Song gets 5s. If that makes sense. Yeah.
I mean, I definitely think there is a huge chance that he gets in, especially if Maestro gains that momentum, because I mean, it hasn't even come out for the masses yet. So I mean, it comes out on the 22nd, right?
Wednesday, right?
It comes out Wednesday.
So it'll be out very, very soon. Once this video comes out, it'll even be out.
Yeah, exactly.
So I mean, once it gains momentum, who knows what this movie could do? But I have started to see recently its Rotten Tomatoes score go down. And some reviews recently have been coming out for it, and people are not as keen on this film as the people who were seeing it at the film festivals. I've heard a lot of issues about the story feeling rushed, and but one thing I have not heard any bad things about is Bradley Cooper's direction.
His direction, his performance, and Carey Mulligan. Those are the things that I keep hearing about it. I am actually, Shawn, going to do the slightest of pushbacks. I've actually seen great things about it.
That's fair.
Not necessarily on Rotten Tomatoes, but Letterboxd, for example. People that I know, and just the scale in general. I'm a little bit surprised. I almost feel like I don't think it's going to be as good as these people are saying. That's where I'm at with Maestro. But what do you guys think on the narrative that the Academy will put Cooper in this time because they wanted to put him in for A Star Is Born and didn't?
I think that's a definite narrative.
You think so? You think it has merit?
I do think it has merit, especially since I do think that they loved A Star Is Born. It was obvious that they did, and then he just didn't get in then. But now with Maestro, even though I haven't seen it, according to a lot of people, he has upped his direction game, and it's even more of an accomplishment than what he did with A Star Is Born. So I feel like a lot of people are going to be like, yeah, we didn't give it to him last time, but he's gotten even better this time. We have to do it.
What an interesting race this is.
Mm-hmm.
There's a definite 9 here, guys.
Yeah.
And
Last couple
I
of
can't
weeks.
even think of anybody else who I could see sneaking in. Honestly, maybe Cord Jefferson, maybe for American Fiction.
Nah, I think he should revel in his script.
Yes, exactly, and I think that's where the notoriety will go for him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
this is a solid 9. That if the Oscars wanted to pull a Critics' Choice last year and give 10 slots, we got a solid 9 here. The last couple of weeks, our honorable mentions were exactly that. They were honorable mentions. I don't think these are honorable mentions. I think this is a top 9, not a top 5 plus honorable. This is a top 9.
Yeah. And I think we have a top 4 that is 100% getting in.
Oh yeah, agreed.
And then we have one little slot that these 2, 3, 4 that these other 5 are fighting for.
Yeah, that is insane. That is so interesting to me. Wow, I love it. I love it. This is picking up, and I am here for it. I was a little discouraged this year with films, but the race is making it up.
Yeah, the race is definitely, I mean, in all categories, the race is super exciting still. And I'm loving the race. But like you said, John, I don't think this year was the best for film.
Agreed.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, I think that is it for Best Director. But we will see you guys very, very soon after the holidays for our predictions for Best Picture. Cannot wait to talk about those with you guys. But before all that happens, please make sure to like the video, comment down below, let us know what your picks are for Best Director, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already.
And you're going to want to be subscribed because the Rubber Duckies are coming back for third time in a row. We've done it annually. And what our Rubber Duckies is it's basically our Oscars. We get our audiences, we get our coworkers, our friends, our family to vote for the movies of the year, the actors, the actresses, all of that. We get them to vote, and then we have a big award ceremony live. And it's just such a big event. It's so fun. So definitely keep an eye out on more announcements regarding the Rubber Duckies.
Yes.
Exactly. They
So
will
excited.
be coming up.
Yeah.
Yes, still excited as well. But this is the end. So, till next time, movie fans.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
This is looking to be a tight one, folks.